When is gagging too much? Gagging is a normal process. We want to see gagging. It means they're protecting their airway from things that are odd or feel different. We need to allow the brain to respond to that stimulus and know that it is safe. And that is when you will see a decrease in gag. But when is gagging not okay? If baby gags so much and they cannot come out of their gag, that sometimes they start to lose their breath, or maybe they vomit, we need to take a step back. A lot of times parents will tell me that that is what gagging was like for their baby. They never recovered from their gag. Even if they were chewing on something and the stimulus was removed, baby could not recover from the gag. So they stopped doing the oral play. They stopped giving the chewy tubes. They stopped giving the foods, the stick figure foods. That is what we don't want to do. That is keeping the gag in the same place it was, but it's also telling the brain that what they were doing wasn't safe. And so now there is a psychological response, a response where if they see this, or they see food, or they see your finger, they're automatically going to start to gag. And so we need to figure out why the gagging is happening. It could be happening because there is so much tension in the back of the tongue that when they gag, they can't relax. And if you can't relax out of that gag reflex, then it will keep going and keep going until vomiting, or baby becomes so frustrated they start crying. But they don't realize that it was the tension in their mouth that caused the gag. What they think happened was this object or your finger or that food was the dangerous thing that went inside the mouth that led to that behavior. And so that is what they're going to relate the gag to. That's what they're going to associate the gag to. So I always tell parents that tension is such a powerful thing, and it relates to the gag reflex too. So if we're carrying lots of tension in our mouth, another reason why oral play is so important. I want you, if you have a chewy tube and you are guiding the chewy tube play and you find that baby starts to gag, I want you to move a little bit forward and just guide in the front of the mouth, looking at baby saying, you got it, you're okay. Our hope is that that brain response will trigger safety and the tension will relax. And then you can keep progressing further back. Once you know where their trigger spot is, then we move slower and slower back, more slowly back. And so it would look like this. If you have a baby who has that hypersensitive gag and you go here under the tongue and they start gagging, then I want you to move a little bit forward and rub. You got it. Yeah, you're okay. And hopefully that gag will recover. If you go here and they start to gag, then you move forward and you let them recover. And in your mind, you know, okay, that's our tough spot. That's where we need to focus. So I want you to go here and play in that spot. And then eventually you can go a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. This is where the oral play guide can be really beneficial, because you have the videos to show you what the movement is supposed to look like as you progress further and further back in the mouth. If you have an older child, let's say you didn't do oral play in the beginning, and so you have an older child and you're starting solids and they cannot recover from their gag, then we need to find out where that tension is being held. Do we need to do some guppy stretches? Do we need to do more movement activities on the outside in order to promote that decreased tension on the inside? To get babies safe with foods, you keep offering those foods. If it leads to vomiting, you do need to find a specialist so that they can direct you into what they see and how to correct that tension. But stop offering them just tells that association that what they thought was right. You keep offering them and have them feel safer with the objects themselves. Maybe you tell them, keep it up front and start chewing here. And then you can start chewing here. And then you start chewing here. And you move it further and further back. Make sure also that they're in control of the object. If they're in control of it, it's much better for them to interpret safety when they're feeling the object, they know that it's safe, they have it in their hand and they're doing it, versus somebody coming at them and putting something in their mouth that they have no awareness of. If you're feeling stuck with gagging, don't keep saying, oh, they're just not ready. They're just not ready. That is their body telling us something is not quite right. And the earlier we fix it, the better. Gagging is okay. We want to see them recover from it, and we want to see them continue to try the same food that they just gagged on. If they start to refuse, even when you offer with no pressure, or they gag so much that they vomit, please reach out for more assistance, more help. Maybe we need to look into feeding therapy. If you can't find it in your area, please consider it a virtual one-on-one. I can help you pinpoint what the issue is and how we can help you move around it. I hope that helps.